I ruined my eyes to buy an official position for my husband. But the first thing he did after becoming an official was to welcome his beloved into our home. My husband didn't want the infamy of abandoning the wife of his humble days, so he could only torment me day after day, waiting for me to ask for a divorce. The two of them even secretly plotted to divide my property and seize my dowry. She is just a half-blind embroiderer with no one to rely on. What happens to her is completely our call, isn't it? I turned and left, untied the white gauze before my eyes, revealing a pair of bright eyes, and picked up a brush to write a secret letter. In the letter, I specifically named that truly talented scholar from our hometown, telling him to take Pei Qing's position. After all, as the behind-the-scenes owner of the largest embroidery shop in Suzhou, I had that much money and connections. Me trusted subordinate snuck into my residence under the cover of night. May I ask for what matter Miss has summoned Hong Xiao overnight? I handed over the secret letter and the silver, and told him to give them to that Lord Li I visited last time to buy an official post for Pei Qing. I visited this Lord Li with silver. He took the money and was actually quite fast. In less than 3 days, Pei Qing's letter of appointment was issued. My confidant looked at the letter, hesitating to speak. But in the end, he steeled himself and advised me, after becoming an official, that Pei Qing torments you so much, and you are still pulling strings for him, that childhood sweetheart of Pei Qing's, that Chen Wan. She is spreading rumors outside every day. Now everyone outside is saying they're a pair of star-crossed lovers, and that you are a big villain who acts like a tyrant and bullies the co-wife. Are they also saying, I force-fed Chen Wan safflower soup, calling me a jealous wife, a hen that can't lay eggs myself, who won't even let Pei Qing have children with someone else? You knew all this. This kind of rumor-spreading trick. I saw it back when I was 16, the year I first took over the embroidery shop. I chuckled softly, placing the white gauze back over my eyes. You, girl, don't let your mind run wild. Your young lady isn't that stupid. That scholar in the village seems pretty good to me. He has got real talent and is a man of action, perfect to replace Pei Qing. Also, on your way back, have someone draft a divorce agreement for me. I want it by tomorrow. While he is still showing off his power in this official position, I'll divorce him early, and in the end, I won't get the bad reputation of abandoning the poor for the rich. Hong Xiao saw that I finally made up my mind and broke into a happy smile, but she seemed to think of something else, and her face immediately fell. Miss, this subordinate knows you have your reasons for not revealing your identity. But to let this dog man and woman off just like that is way too easy on them. Right. I hid my identity from Pei Qing, mostly for the sake of my embroidery shop. After all, if people like Pei Qing and Chen Wan really set their minds on pestering my shop in the future, it would disrupt my business. It is just, letting them off like this would be too easy for them. A profit-driven merchant like me, of course, has to collect some interests from them. Just as I opened my mouth to answer, the door to my room was violently pushed open. Pei Qing and Chen Wan pushed the door open and came in, followed by many house servants. Luckily, Hong Xiao was quick-witted and nimble, leaping up to hide on the roof beams with her qinggong. Chen Wan clung to Pei Qing's arm, saying with absolute certainty, "Husband, I personally heard someone else's voice in the room. I wonder if, because you haven't favored older sister in so long, her desires became uncontrollable, and so she found a secret lover. In just a few sentences, she had slapped such a huge accusation on me." Chen Wan changed her tone and squeezed out a couple of tears. "It is all my fault for monopolizing you all day, husband, which made older sister go astray." Pei Qing's heart ached for her, and he held Chen Wan's hand to comfort her. I sneered. "She is a young maid that I hired myself. What, the manor won't assign a maid to take care of me, so I am not allowed to find one myself." Pei Qing looked slightly angry. "Fang Yingyu, can you stop being so dramatic? Wanner is pregnant. So of course, the household has to prioritize her in everything. Besides, isn't the reason Wanner is having such a hard time getting pregnant because you vicious woman, forced her to drink saffron soup? Although my heart was already completely dead, people's hearts are made of flesh, and hearing these words from Pei Qing, I still couldn't help but feel my heart ache. just based on a single, baseless sentence from Chen Wan. I became a vicious and wicked woman. Pei Qing protected Chen Wan behind him, looking all around my house. What maidservant? If you ask me, you've just hidden your lover away. Men, search the house, and don't miss a single corner. Down everything, wardrobes, under beds, anywhere a person can hide. Tode, I am determined to find this lover. Just as the family servants were about to make a move, Hong Xiao, who had changed into a maidservant's outfit, came in from outside carrying a basin of water. Madam, this servant has brought the water you asked for. Luckily, Hong Xiao was clever enough to slip away from the side, change her clothes, and then come back. Seeing that it was really the little maid I hired, Chen Wan was actually a bit displeased, muttering, "So, it is really not her secret lover." Pei Qing's expression wasn't good either, and he pointed at Hong Xiao and ordered me, "Get rid of her, and the sooner the better. The family still has to take care of Wanner's pregnancy. Where would we get so much money for you to squander? Even though most of the family's money is mine." Afterwards, the two of them swaggered off, leaving a complete mess behind. I sighed and told Hong Xiao, "Go prepare the divorce papers overnight, and bring them to me before noon tomorrow. I don't want to live another day like this, with those two bastards constantly in front of me." The second day, I sat in the room, just waiting for Hong Xiao to bring me the divorce papers. But, until the sun was high at noon, there was no sign of Hong Xiao. Hong Xiao is reliable. A situation like this has basically never happened before. Why this time? I gradually grew uneasy. Suddenly, one of Pei Qing's men walked in and reluctantly gave a bow. Then, the man gave a gloating smile. "Madam, Lord Pei has sent for you. He is waiting for you in the front hall." I suppressed the unease in my heart and hurried to the front hall. As soon as I reached the front hall, I saw Hong Xiao trussed up and thrown on the floor, with even traces of whipping on her body. "Hong Xiao!" I rushed over, knelt on the floor and hugged Hong Xiao, tears streaming down my face. Pei Qing was very smug, calling her so intimately. Just as I thought, your relationship is not a simple one. Huh. No wonder we couldn't force a confession out of her after torturing her all night yesterday. On a table to the side were stacked silver ingots, the ones I gave to Hong Xiao yesterday. I was crying heartbrokenly on top of Hong Xiao, and Hong Xiao also took this chance to get close to my ear and whisper, "Miss, rest assured. I sewed the letter you gave to Lord Li into my inner pocket. They didn't find it." After speaking, Hong Xiao went back to pretending to be unconscious. Seeing that Hong Xiao's life was not in danger, I couldn't help but sigh in relief. But Hong Xiao is agile, and ordinary people can't catch her. I don't know what kind of dirty tricks Pei Qing and his people used. I glared, staring at Pei Qing. "What on earth are you trying to do? If this is to force me to divorce, then let's just get a divorce. Why did you have to harm an innocent person?" Pei Qing hefted the silver ingot in his hand, scrutinizing me condescendingly. "The family is tight on money right now, and you actually kept a secret stash to have the maid go out and buy you rouge and powder. If something happens to Wanner, will you be blameless? Will you lackey, be blameless? All this money will be confiscated and used to buy supplements for Wanner. Also, since you brought up divorce, then let's get it done sooner rather than later." It is just... Pei Qing's voice trailed off as he raised a finger. "After you married into the Pei family, all your food and drink were taken care of by them. This official status is different now, so I won't bicker with you over it. Just to be fair, you have to leave half of your dowry behind. Consider it compensation for Wanner. After all, you are the one who forced Wanner to drink saffron soup, which almost made her unable to conceive. Fang Ying you. This is what you deserve." I was so angry my chest felt tight, and I was short of breath, and for a moment, I couldn't be bothered to care about any of that dowry or money stuff. Anyway, the one thing I am not short on is money. I slapped Pei Qing hard across the face. "Divorce? Divorce right now." Pei Qing covered his face, immediately had someone draft a divorce letter, gave me half of my dowry, and also pocketed all the silver found on Hong Xiao. I, however, just signed my name neatly, and turned to leave with Hong Xiao. But Pei Qing stopped me, told me to take off my clothes too, smiling smugly. I had this clothing made for you when we were newly married, so naturally it belongs to my Pei family. If you don't want to return it, it is not like you can't buy it. This official is a man of integrity, so I won't give you a hard time. I'll just charge you 10 taels. Just consider it money to buy clothes for the child in Wanner's belly. Besides, you have plenty of private savings. Just think of it as atoning for your own sins. Hong Xiao gasped in pain, but still forced herself to turn around and defend me. This official position of yours was all paid for by the young miss. To save up the money, she ruined her eyesight. And now you actually. Pei Qing snorted and said disdainfully, "That is because I am capable and ambitious. She merely provided me with financial support. That is all. Besides, I never asked her to. She did it of her own free will." I pulled out a 10-tael silver note and threw it in Pei Qing's face. "From this moment on, all ties between you and me are severed." As I left, I could even hear Pei Qing and Chen Wan's completely uncaring whispers. "Husband, she is so disrespectful to you. You've got to teach her a good lesson later." Of course, I will definitely find a chance to teach that venomous woman a lesson and avenge Wanner. You are the best husband. Hong Xiao was disgusted listening to it, and her pace quickened a lot. When Hong Xiao and I returned to the embroidery shop, the people in the shop all gathered around, asking what was wrong. I sighed and told them to take good care of Hong Xiao, and that she would tell them herself when she woke up. After seeing with my own eyes that they had settled Hong Xiao in, I instructed a young servant at my side. "Yingxiang, prepare the horse. I am going out for a bit." "Boss, let me get the coachman to take you in the carriage, your eyes." The servant boy wanted to speak, but hesitated after all. The story of how I ruined my eyes to buy an official post for my husband before our divorce had already spread throughout the capital. But I ripped off the white gauze over my eyes, revealing a pair of bright, clear eyes. "It is fine. Prepare the horse. I'll just go myself." Your eyes, they weren't ruined. I just wasn't feeling well those few days, and made up an excuse to test him. That is all. My eyes were indeed uncomfortable for those few days. And plus, Pei Qing hadn't revealed his true nature at the time. We were getting along as sweet as honey, so I was just trying to test him out and act cute at the same time. Who would have thought, in less than 2 days, this bastard would show his true colors? Thinking of this, I shook my head. I've been a businessman for many years and thought myself shrewd enough. Yet, I was still played around in circles by this scoundrel. Luckily, I didn't reveal my identity to him. Otherwise, this scoundrel would probably have his eye on my shop too. Yin Shang left to prepare a horse for me, and I rode my horse to the east of the city. I am going to find that scholar from the countryside. Thinking back, when I was enjoying the country life in my little village house, I happened to find the injured and unconscious Pei Qing. Pei Qing was fair-skinned and handsome, and even though I've met so many people doing business, my ears turned red at the very first sight of him. Driven by lust, I took him home and raised him as a pet. After Pei Qing woke up, he performed a grand bow to thank me, and 1,000 thanks would not have been enough. He said he was a scholar, the head of his house with no father or mother, all alone, was originally on his way to the capital for the imperial exam, missed his footing and fell off a cliff, and then happened to be saved by me. If it weren't for you, miss, I am afraid IP would have been dead long ago. And as we spent more time together afterwards, we grew closer and closer, and that layer of window paper between us was getting even thinner. I saw he was good-looking and smart, so it was hard not to develop a little crush. Merchants do business, and there are always officials above them overseeing things. If the family can have an official, then that counts as leaning against a big tree for good shade. Thinking like that, and on top of that, my heart was stirring with first love. So I gave Pei Qing some travel money and told him to come back and marry me after he finished his exam. Because I was afraid of scaring Pei Qing away. And also because merchants are inevitably more suspicious, I hid my own little schemes, and only told him I was a farm girl who made a living from embroidery. After that, he failed to achieve an official title, and came back dejectedly to marry me. I was under the impression that he was a decent and practical man, and that it didn't matter whether he had an official title or not. So I married him as well. And after we got married, he heard that someone in another village had spent money to become an official, so he would hint at me from time to time, wanting me to donate an official position for him. But I never expected that, not long after we got married, and I just bought him an official post. He revealed his true nature. If I were really a helpless farm girl with no one to rely on, I am afraid he would have already pinned me down and killed me by now. Therefore, this scholar this time, I am going to examine very, very carefully. At least I can't push another evil person up, messing up the lives of the common people. After my investigation, I found that this scholar named Kui is not only well-read, but also has a good reputation among the neighbors. This little Kui is a good kid. After he saw me fall while fetching water last time, he has been coming to help me fetch water every day. Yeah. Last time my daughter-in-law was about to give birth, he was also the one who rode his horse to fetch the doctor. It is just that the kid is a bit stubborn. If you ask me, he should save up some money and buy an official post, just like that Lord P. Oh my, you'd better stop talking. Those are words that can get you beheaded. Let me tell you, that Pei Ching is a real scumbag. After he took office, he has been hinting, both openly and secretly, for us to send him money. Otherwise, he'll deliberately cause trouble. If he pushes me any further, this old lady will hang myself right at the Yamen gate. Nobody's going to have an easy time. Cough, cough, cough. Ayo, Auntie Zhang, don't you worry. Thank goodness, thank goodness. Luckily, these people don't recognize me. Otherwise, it would really be. I guiltily scratched my nose, thinking I'd really caused a huge disaster this time. And just at this moment, that scholar surnamed Kui also passed by, and seeing Auntie Zhang coughing, he jogged over to pat her back and help her catch her breath. Auntie Zhang, didn't we say you shouldn't smoke the dry pipe anymore? How come as soon as you cough, there is a whiff of dry pipe tobacco again? Auntie Zhang smiled sheepishly. Ayo, not at all, not at all. Oh right, little Kui, this young lady is looking for you. Scholar Kui turned his head to look at me sighing. Oh, you are that Pi. I hurriedly covered his mouth and took him away, and back in his small, drafty thatched hut, I explained to him the reason for my visit. And yet he showed no joy at all, and just gave me a heavy bow. Kui Wenjing thanks you for your kindness, miss. It is just... Wenjing still prefers to rely on his own strength, rather than spending money to buy an official position. But I didn't appreciate it, and slammed the table. No, you must go and replace Pei Ching. Otherwise, the common people will be ruined by him. In my haste, I pulled Kui Wenjing onto a horse, rode all the way to the front of Lord Li's mansion, preparing to take him to visit Lord Li. Kui Wenjing was so scared his face turned pale. He was holding onto a pillar, about to vomit. You are a girl. How can you ride a horse so wildly? But I had no time to waste on nonsense with him, and pulled him, intending to go inside. Just then, the mansion gates opened, and a clamorous sound came from within. Lord Li, please reconsider. This official has nothing to say to you. Guards, see him out. Lord Li had an ugly expression, and following behind him was Pei Ching with a fawning look on his face. It was also at this moment that both of them saw me at the same time. Fang Yingyu, Boss Fang. Pei Ching shot me a cold glance, and when he saw Kui Wenjing beside me, his expression became tinged with anger. He furrowed his brow and shouted angrily. I told you you had a secret lover, and you still wouldn't admit it. Now that I've caught you in the act, let's see how you are going to explain this. Kui Wenjing wanted to explain for me, but I shook my head, motioning for him to stop, then stared intently into Pei Ching's eyes. If I recall correctly, Lord P, you and I are already divorced. What, is Lord P going to meddle in my private affairs now too? Pei Ching met my eyes, a little surprised. Your eyes are actually better? Thanks to you. My eyes got better on their own as soon as I left you. I smiled politely, but my tone was full of sarcasm. Lord Li stroked his beard, looking rather surprised, but even more so, delighted. You and Boss Fang are already divorced? So that means there is nothing between you two now? Pei Qing felt he had lost face, grabbing Lord Li's sleeve. What Boss Fang? My lord, Fang Yingyu is just a shameless, promiscuous woman. My lord, this woman was definitely already involved with this adulterer before we were divorced. You must drown this woman in a pig cage. I, however, just gave Lord Li a proper curtsy. To answer you, sir, I have already divorced Pei Qing, and we have cut all ties and have nothing to do with each other anymore. I came to visit today to bring your wife some fashionable embroidery from the capital, and also to introduce someone to you. Pei Qing was extremely disdainful. He snatched that embroidery from my hands and tore it to shreds, and as if still not satisfied, threw it on the ground and stomped on it while saying, "You really think your embroidery is that amazing? How dare you show it to Lady Li? Aren't you afraid of dirtying her eyes?" Rest assured, sir. Send someone to Jingshu Fang right now to buy the most fashionable and magnificent embroidery, and present it with both hands when they return. I sneered, crossing my arms and sizing him up. I am afraid Lord Pei won't be able to buy any. Pei Qing was utterly disdainful. What, are you going to beg Jingshu Fang not to sell to me? Fang Yingyu, let me give you some advice. Stop dreaming. If you can obediently apologize to me right now, maybe I can let bygones be bygones and forgive you. Lord Li looked at Pei Qing as if he were an idiot and said, "You don't know. Boss Fang is the owner of Jingshu Workshop." Pei Qing paused for a moment, thinking Lord Li was tricking him, and forced a dry laugh. "Please don't joke with me, my lord. She is just a half-blind seamstress. How could she possibly be the owner of the embroidery workshop?" Lord Li couldn't be bothered to waste any more words with him and directly had someone lead me and Chui Wenjing into the room. Afterwards, he ordered the attendants to throw Pei Qing out. After being dragged outside, Pei Qing was still indignantly shouting and cursing at me. "Fang Yingyu! Don't think that you can rest easy just because you've latched onto a big tree like Lord Li. Woman, sooner or later you'll be thrown into the pond to drown." Lord Li sighed. "Yingyu, you helped my wife back then, and our family is indebted to you. But this Pei Qing is really, really a lost cause. Ever since he took office, he has been bleeding the common people dry, and all the locals have been tormented by him. Pei Qing's official post will be revoked sooner or later. Please try to be understanding. I've kept the money you sent to buy an official position for Pei Qing. Take it back." I covered my lips with a handkerchief and let out a soft laugh. "Rest assured, my lord, I no longer have any feelings for Pei Qing. Whether he lives or dies has nothing to do with me. I also know that scoundrel Pei Qing is unfit for any great responsibility. This time, I've come to introduce a truly promising talent to you, my lord." I stepped aside, revealing Cui Wenjing behind me. It was also at this time that Mrs. Li rushed to the front courtyard to see me, and her face lit up with joy the moment she saw Cui Wenjing. "Oh, it is you." Mrs. Li leaned close to Lord Li and introduced with a smile. "Last time the daughter-in-law next door was having a difficult birth. It was this very little Cui who rode a horse to find the doctor. Even that Auntie Zhang from the south, the one with the worst temper, speaks well of little Cui." Official Li also nodded repeatedly, and said that after removing Pei Qing in a few days, he would let Cui Wenjing try to take his place. Official Li patted his shoulder. "Yang Cui Boss Fang has given you this opportunity, so make sure you perform well." Cui Wenjing nodded heavily, without any flowery words, and only replied, "I, Cui, will definitely not fail this trust." Cui Wenjing and I left the Li residence shoulder to shoulder. I smiled and teased him. "Lord Cui, I've extended an olive branch to you. So how are you going to thank me?" The tips of Cui Wenjing's ears were a little red, but he forced himself to look natural. Then I'll go to Boss Fang's Jingshu embroidery shop to buy some embroidery, to drum up some business for you. How about that?" I waved my hand, and before I could even speak, that familiar figure suddenly popped up in front of me. Pei Qing stood before me, his expression a little unnatural. He put on a show of coughing lightly, his voice softening considerably. "The Jingshu embroidery shop, it is really yours? Why didn't you tell me before?" I sneered, scanning him up and down. "What does this have to do with you?" You and I are already divorced. Lord Pei, you should go back and look after that new wife of yours at home. I only found out from the gossip that no sooner had I left the Pei family home than Pei Qing made Chen Wan his official wife. The two of them, spending the money I left behind, all lovey-dovey under the moon and flowers, are truly shameless. Fang Yingyu, what is this attitude you are using to speak to this official? No matter how capable you are just a merchant, while I am a court-appointed official. I rolled my eyes and turned to leave. Pei Qing blocked me, gritting his teeth as if he were making a huge sacrifice. As long as you are willing to hand over the Jingshu embroidery shop for this official and Wanner to manage, I can also let bygones be bygones and take you as my wife again. If you marry in now, this official can give you the status and treatment of an equal wife. But you'd better thank Wanner properly for being so generous. After you are married into the family, go and give her a proper kowtow to thank her. As for the business of Jingshu workshop, you don't need to involve yourself from now on. Just stay at home, serve your husband, and raise your children. This is what you women should be doing. I laughed out of anger, but Kui Wenjing let out a sneer, beating me to the punch with a sarcastic remark, Wolf of Zhongshan Chen Shimei, and now I've actually met one in real life. Pei Qing seemed not to have expected that this poor scholar would dare to curse him, glaring angrily. Who are you talking about? Saying this, he even looked ready to fight. It is just that Pei Qing was already weak, and having gotten used to being served by me and the servants for so many years, he was naturally no match for Kui Wenjing, who was always on the move. Kui Wenjing turned around, lifted his foot and kicked, and Pei Qing fell right into a sitting position in the mud, looking utterly pathetic. Kui Wenjing looked down at him, his tone sarcastic. I, Kui, have always believed that scholars should have integrity and backbone, but now that I've met Lord Pie, I realize how little I've seen of the world. The ancients said, friends from humble days should not be forgotten, and a wife who shared your hardships should not be cast aside. Did Lord Pei read all his books into a dog's stomach? All those books by the sages, it would be better to tear them up and use them to plaster your face. After a heated exchange of words, Kui Wenjing was afraid Pei Qing couldn't understand, and cursed again. A toad crawling on your foot, it doesn't bite you, but it disgusts you. Afterwards, he and I swaggered off, leaving only Pei Qing fuming helplessly on the spot. I don't know if Pei Qing understood those curses from Kui Wenjing anyway. I only understood the last sentence, which was local slang. But looking at Pei Qing's face, the curses must have been really satisfying. You need to get up and take a look. I sprang out of bed, quickly got dressed, and rushed to the entrance, only to see Chen Wan and her people blocking the doorway of my Jingshu Fang. Seeing me come out, Chen Wan quickly squeezed out a couple of tears and cried out to the surrounding crowd. Please everyone, seek justice for me. The owner of Jingshu Fang is trying to drive me to my death. I scowled but said nothing, just folded my arms and waited to see what she would say. Since I didn't respond, Chen Wan just went on by herself. The owner of Jingshu Fang, Fang Yingyu, was once my husband's official wife. In those days, she tormented me every single day, driving me to the point of nearly jumping into a lake. I never thought that even now that they're divorced, she still won't let me go. She actually instigated my husband to divorce me. When you cry, my heart feels like it is going to break. That is right. Don't worry, we'll definitely help you. However, many people were also skeptical. Surely not. I don't think Boss Fang is that kind of person. Yeah, I agree. Surely not. Upon hearing this, Chen Wan's tears fell even more heavily. I am but a weak woman. If I wasn't truly desperate, how could I do such a thing in the middle of the street? Folks, I beg you all to stand up for me. After speaking, she kowtowed loudly to the surrounding people several times with a thud. Thud. Her performance was so engrossing. If I didn't know the truth, I would definitely have been moved by her emotions as well. Sure enough, many of the commoners in the surrounding crowd had already started to gossip about me. Etsuke Tetsuke, this Boss Fang. Why did she have to push the poor girl this far? That Miss Chen Wan is crying so heartbreakingly. I don't think it is fake. Tell me about it. Truly, the most venomous heart belongs to a woman. Meanwhile, My subordinates also started sticking up for me, arguing with these people, and almost coming to blows. In that moment, all eyes fell on me. But I just glanced at Chen Wan indifferently. It seems your days at the Pei family haven't been easy either. Otherwise, why would you be sent here by Pi Qing to cause trouble with a big belly like that? Chen Wan's mask of gentleness and grievance cracked a little. She was stunned for a moment, then stubbornly retorted, "You are talking nonsense. You stop trying to sow discord between my husband and me." To maintain her innocent little white flower persona, Chen Wan wiped away her non-existent tears. "My husband and I have a very harmonious and loving relationship. You don't need to worry about me. I feel sorry for my husband, who has been bewitched by a vile woman. So naturally, I want to seek justice for him." I calmly sat down on a nearby stone bench. Just think, now that you've come here and made a scene, who is the one losing out, and who is the one benefiting? No matter the outcome today, with you, Chen Wan, making a public spectacle of yourself on a busy street, your reputation won't sound very good. And what about Pei Qing? He doesn't have to do anything. He can just sit at home and reap the rewards. If you win today, he gets to vent his anger. If you lose today, your reputation will be damaged, and you'll have to rely on him. So, won't you have to obediently listen to whatever he says from now on? Even if Pei Qing divorces you later, he can just say you are an unreasonable, troublemaking madwoman after all. Everyone who saw you make a scene today can serve as his witness. You do all the dirty and hard work, but all the benefits go to him. I smiled and got up, pretentiously giving her a bow. Madame Pei really is self-sacrificing, huh? Such a great fearless spirit, Mr. Fang is worthy of learning. Chen Wan was dazed from listening, still sitting in the same spot but number. Impossible. This is all nonsense. You made it all up. You just want to drive a wedge between me and my husband, and then you want to swoop in when I am vulnerable. I am warning you. Don't even think about it. Chen Wan glared at me, strands of her hair hanging down messily, just like a madwoman. I spread my hands helplessly. Fine. If Madame Pei insists on thinking that way, there is nothing I can do. Turning my head, I greeted the crowd of onlookers with a smile as beautiful as a flower. However, thanks to Madame Pei today, so many people have come to our shop, so of course we can't let you all come for nothing. Don't you all agree? It is human nature to love watching a good show, and voices of agreement rose from the crowd. Right! I hurriedly called for the shop boy and the shopkeeper to come out and welcome the customers. Now that the seasons are changing, it is out with the old and in with the new. Today, the embroidery from our Jingshu Fang will be sold for at least half price. Everyone, come take a look. Good water, good tea, and a warm welcome as soon as you enter. With that said, the crowd dispersed, and quite a few people were drawn into the shop by the half-off sale. And the remaining small group of people also went home on their own, to deal with their own lives. Watching the spectacle is one thing, but it is not like they could stop living their lives. For a moment, only Chen Wan was left, sitting collapsed on the ground in a sorry state, constantly mumbling, "Impossible. Impossible. He loves me so much. How could it be possible?" I shook my head and let out a long sigh. Chen Wan might be in a honey-like state of happiness, so she can't see it clearly. But after going through this, I see it very clearly. A selfish person like Pei Qing only truly loves one person, and that is himself. I had thought that after this battle, they would quiet down for a few days. But who would have thought? One wave had not yet subsided when another arose. Within 3 days, the one who appeared outside my Jingsu embroidery shop was no longer Chen Wan, but a group of government soldiers. The head of the soldiers squinted at me. "Boss Fang, come with us." I frowned and asked, "Can you give me the time it takes for an incense stick to burn to arrange my household affairs?" The head of the soldiers nodded impatiently. Seeing this, the shopkeeper and the young apprentice both asked me what was happening. I shook my head. I don't know, but I have a feeling it is probably Pei Qing again. After taking care of the miscellaneous matters in the shop, I went with the soldiers. I was taken to the county yamen. Sitting up high was the county magistrate, and standing beside him was none other than Pei Qing. Pei Qing is just a petty official, logically he shouldn't be here. Therefore, I guessed, Pei Qing must have pulled some strings and spent some money, and that is how he found the county magistrate. Seeing me arrive, Pei Qing fawningly bent down and whispered in the county magistrate's ear, "My lord, it is this venomous woman." The county magistrate squinted and nodded, then slammed his gavel. Audacious Fang, "She, do you know your crime?" I furrowed my brows. Neither servile nor overbearing. I do not know what crime I have committed. Please enlighten me, my lord. If it is about those things Lord Pei said, like not observing wifely duties, or showing my face in public, then I refuse to plead guilty. The county magistrate snorted through his nose. Today's verdict will be delivered by Lord Pei himself. Your crimes will be decided by Lord Pei. After speaking, the county magistrate got up and leisurely walked over to the grand armchair on the side to sit down. And Pei Qing took a seat in the center, just like the county magistrate had a moment ago, and slammed the gavel. "Criminal woman, Fang Shi, you committed murder. You once forced my wife Chen Wan to drink a saffron soup, causing this official's child to be stillborn, and my wife to be bedridden with illness. Do you plead guilty? Will you submit to the law?" I shouted out loud. "You are framing an innocent person. I swear on my life. I never forced Chen Wan to drink saffron. That bowl of medicinal soup back then was just ordinary ginseng chicken soup. Besides, saffron is a potent medicine. How could it only be taking effect now? There must be something fishy about this." But Pei Qing wouldn't listen to my explanation at all, and just had the officers come and drag me away. If making oaths was of any use, what would we need the government for? "Guards, take Fang Shi down and lock her in the Sky Prison to await her sentence." As for Fang Shi's Jingshu workshop, Pei Qing revealed a smug smile. "Confiscated. This official will personally arrange for it later." Lord Li went to the capital a few days ago to report on his duties. The journey is long and tiring, so it is absolutely impossible for him to return today. It seems Pei Qing has banked on Lord Li not being around these few days, which is why he can be so unscrupulous. In that case, I can only go to the Sky Prison first, and then figure out a way to contact Lord Li. It is just that inside the Sky Prison, I am afraid it'll be even more convenient for Pei Qing to play some tricks. I shook off the officers restraining me, bit my lip, bit down too hard and broke it, and the taste of rust filled my mouth. No need. I can walk by myself. Just then, I heard a rather familiar voice. "Hold on." It was Kui Wenjing, and in his hands he seemed to be holding something. Pei Qing frowned in displeasure. "This is an important place for this official to preside over cases. Can just anyone enter? Guards, throw him out." Kui Wenjing seemed to have just dismounted, his breathing uneven, but he resolutely protected me behind him. He raised his right hand and the thing in it yellow, with a dragon pattern. "It is an imperial edict." Kui Wenjing also raised the imperial edict, shouting sternly, "This is a genuine imperial edict. I'd like to see who dares to be insolent." I tugged on Kui Wenjing's sleeve and swallowed hard. "I sent someone to tell you, to ask you to figure something out, and this is what you came up with. Forging an imperial edict. Don't you know you can get your head chopped off for this?" Kui Wenjing gave a faint smile. "Don't worry, this is a genuine imperial edict that I just received from Lord Li." Kui Wenjing unrolled the edict. "Lord Pi, this is the imperial edict for your dismissal. Come and see for yourself." Pei Qing took the edict with trembling hands, his lips trembling as well. How could this be? How could I be dismissed from my post? I am clearly so capable. I am clearly so talented. As if all the strength had been drained from his body, Pei Qing weakly and slowly knelt down. Suddenly his hand shot up, abruptly pointing at me, his fingertip only an inch from my face. His originally handsome face became terrifying with anger, and the rims of his eyes were bloodshot. "It was you. It must have been you. Did you take back the money used to buy my official post? Is that why I was dismissed?" Kui Wenjing tasked and started to mock him. "So you knew this was the official position Boss Fang bought for you, huh? What, did you forget all this when you were tormenting her and when you were getting divorced? Forget it. Forget it. A person unworthy of their position will naturally get their retribution sooner. I have to say, Kui Wenjing is usually quiet, but when it comes to being sarcastic, he really has a way with words. With Kui Wenjing's help, I also stood up, looked at Pi Qing and said word by word. I saw you were depressed and unfulfilled before, so I thought about buying an official position for you. But later, I realized I was wrong. A scoundrel like you, after becoming an official, wouldn't think about how to fulfill your ambitions, but would instead indulge in pleasure all day and exploit the common people. You despicable woman, you corrupt official, you don't deserve to be human. I really couldn't think of anything more elegant to say, so I had to resort to cursing him with the most primitive swear words. And Pei Qing, seemingly having given up all hope, crawled on his knees to the county magistrate's side, pointed at me and said, "Your Honor, you must help me severely punish this venomous woman. Your Honor, you took my money." The county magistrate looked awkward, and just as he was about to leave in a hurry, his path was blocked. Official Li came in smiling and stroking his beard. "Is that so? Too bad. The current county magistrate is no longer this gentleman." When Lord Li went to report on his duties, he reported the deeds of the county magistrate and Pei Qing's collusion, obtained the imperial edict for their dismissal, and rushed back overnight. Incidentally, he also brought back a piece of good news. Kui Wenjing has become the new county magistrate and can take up his post immediately. Pei Qing's face was ashen up to now. He had almost no chance of making a comeback. Just as Pei Qing was waiting to hear his sentence, someone at the door beat the denguin drum to report an injustice. Lord Li summoned the person in, only to find that it was Chen Wan. Chen Wan was very different from a few days ago, all skin and bones. It looked like the miscarriage had taken a great toll on her body. Her hair was a mess, her steps unsteady, and after just a few steps, she fell to her knees on the ground with a thud. Chen Wan scrambled on all fours to Lord Li, desperately grabbing the hem of his robe. My lord, even if you can't forgive my husband, you still can't let this venomous woman Fang Yingyu off the hook. I myself am the witness. If Fang Yingyu hadn't tampered with things, how could I have possibly lost my own child?" Chen Wan covered her face and wept bitterly, her grief not seeming fake. Then, she tugged at Lord Li and said through gritted teeth, "After I became pregnant, I've always been careful about what I eat. The only time there was a problem was with that bowl of ginseng chicken soup Fang Yingyu brought over. It must have been Fang Yingyu who poisoned that bowl of chicken soup. You are a just official. You must seek justice for me." Even Pei Qing, as if clutching at the last straw, kowtowed 3 times loudly to Lord Li. "Yes, Your Honor, I may be guilty, but that Fang Yingyu isn't innocent either. The only one who held a grudge against my wife was Fang Yingyu. The only one who had access to my wife's food was also Fang Yingyu. Your Honor, I beg you to investigate thoroughly, Your Honor." Pei Qing was willing to die just to drag me down with him. Although I knew I was innocent, if I couldn't prove it myself, not even Lord Li and Kui Wenjing combined could save me. Seeing me stay silent, Chen Wan lunged at me like a madwoman, her hands gripping my neck tightly. "I am going to kill you. I must kill you. Go and pay for my child's life with yours. Give me back my child." Her nails were sharp, digging into the skin on my neck until it broke and bled. My head swam, but in that moment, I smelled another scent. Not the smell of blood, nor the fragrance of cosmetics. It was very familiar, but for the life of me, I couldn't place it. Blood rushed to my head, and I was on the verge of fainting. Stop! It all happened so fast that no one reacted. A second before I was about to suffocate and pass out, Kui Wenjing was the first to react, rushing forward to pull us apart. I remember now. I remember what this smell is now. I immediately pushed Kui Wenjing aside, went forward and snatched the sachet tied to Chen Wan's waist. Chen Wan turned around and tried to snatch it back. "What are you doing? My husband gave me this. You stole my child. You stole my husband. And now you are even trying to steal this. You bitch! My eyes darted, and I started to provoke her on purpose. Pei Qing gave this to you. I don't believe you. Chen Wan stared at me, a flash of sweetness crossing her resentful gaze. Of course he did. My husband made it for me with his own hands. I never part with it. Are you sure no one else could have touched it? Of course. You think everyone is like you, a slutty woman. Give it back to me now. She tried to lunge over and snatch it, but I got up a step ahead of her and handed the scented pouch to Lord Lei. My lord, I know who killed the fetus in Chen Wan's womb, far on the horizon. Yet right before your eyes. I pointed at Pei Qing, whose face had turned ugly. It is him, Chen Wan's husband, Pei Qing. To be honest with you all, Pei Qing once gave me a sachet as well, and the ingredients inside were exactly the same as Chen Wan's. And the most crucial ingredient among them was musk. If worn musk makes it difficult for an ordinary woman to conceive, and for a pregnant woman, it could directly cause a miscarriage. It is just that I had some knowledge of fragrances back then, and thought Pei Qing had merely messed up with good intentions. I didn't want to hurt his feelings, so I disposed of it myself. I never expected that he would actually use this same trick on Chen Wan, and the reason is also very simple. It is to use this child, to use Chen Wan's hands to kill me. Pei Qing, what else can you argue? Pei Qing's face was ashen, his lips trembling, unable to speak. Chen Wan collapsed to the ground, seemingly in disbelief. But other than this, what else could she believe? So it turns out the person who killed their child was the child's own father, was her husband. He was the young man she had bitterly waited for in the countryside for 10 years. She was actually so stupid enough to believe the schemes of the person sleeping beside her. Pei Qing still wouldn't give up. Grabbing the hem of my skirt, he looked up and pleaded, A you, save me. I'll definitely treat you well this time. I'll be your beast of burden. Okay, a you, save me. I was just blinded. Bewitched by Chen Wan. I still love you. Look, I don't care about my child with her at all. I don't care about her either. I can't die. A you, save me. The next second, Pei Qing's expression turned pained and savage. It was Chen Wan, gripping a small dagger tightly in her hand. She had plunged it into Pei Qing's heart, blood everywhere. That is my last impression of that matter, of that period of time. 2 years later, a new embroidery shop opened in the capital city. They say, it is from the water towns of Jiangnan. The stitches are delicate, and the styles are beautiful. I'd heard before that this shop's embroidery sells well. Really, then? Let's go take a look. What is that shop called? I think it is called. It is called Jingshu Feng. I popped out from behind the 3 young ladies, still holding newly embroidered samples in my hand to show them. With a smile, I pointed at the shop in the distance with a large plaque hanging that said, Jinshu Feng. That is our Jinshu Feng. You are all welcome to go inside and browse. I feel a connection with you ladies, so everything you buy today will be 20% off. The young ladies were incredibly happy, and after thanking me, they trotted off. Just then, Kui Wenjing popped out from who knows where and stood beside me. That 20% off for a fated person line. You've already said it to 10 girls today. I was startled and clutched my chest with my hand. You scared me to death. Lord Kuai, weren't you just promoted a few days ago? How do you have the leisure to grace us with your presence today? The tips of Kui Wenjing's ears turned an unnatural red, and he turned his head away, not looking at me. Just stop teasing me. I smiled, but I wasn't about to let him off the hook. How would I dare? Our official QI is now a 4th-rank official in the capital, one of His Majesty's favorites. Afraid I would go on and on. QI Wenjing blushed, glared at me, and quickly changed the subject. I heard Chen Wan escaped on her way to exile. So, was she caught? No. When they found her again, they discovered she had rushed back into the prison cell and killed Pei Qing. This time she killed him for good. He had already stopped breathing when he was found. What about Chen Wan? Chen Wan hanged herself beside him. 2 years ago, the dagger Chen Wan stabbed into Piqing's chest was too small, allowing Piqing to narrowly escape death. But while he could escape the death penalty, he couldn't escape punishment. Locked in the sky prison with his injuries and without medical treatment, his chest became covered in festering, cracked sores. Living is also suffering, but Pei Qing is just so hard to kill, stubbornly hanging on until now. I guess this time it can be considered the will of heaven. I sighed. We chatted about some other things, and in the end, Kui Wenjing brought up that same old topic again. When on earth will you marry me? I let out a couple of awkward laughs and changed the subject. I see we have an affinity. How about I give you a 20% discount today too? The corners of Kui Wenjing's eyes even turned slightly red. You are changing the subject again. Just let me work hard for a bit. After I've worked hard for a few years, when I am so old you don't want to marry me anymore, I'll marry you. It was originally just a silly joke, but I didn't expect Kui Wenjing to take it seriously. He stared at the side of my face and said, "Never." I didn't hear him clearly and asked him, "What?" He stared at me and said, word by word, "That day will never come. When you get married, that is when I'll get married." It was dusk, and the warm sunlight fell slantwise upon us. I sighed and looked at him seriously. "But I can really give you a 20% discount today. Just go and have a look around." "Hey Fang Yingyu? How could you again?" "Oh, all right. Then 30% off. You won't go even for 30% off." I am really. The setting sun stretched the two side-by-side shadows very, very far.